Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we're going to be jumping right into things. I've got a string trimmer on the bench that is having some difficulty running, and the fuel lines are extremely stiff, and I think I know what's going on with it. And this should apply to a lot of two-stroke equipment, so if you guys don't have the same model string trimmer that we're going to be working on today, these methods should apply to you. So let's jump right into it and check it out. Alright, so on the bench I have a Echo SRM 210, but like I said, with most string trimmers you're going to have a very similar type of setup with the fuel lines. And what's going on with this is it seems to be cutting off after a minute or two, sometimes if you tip it to the side, and I was seeing some air bubbles actually traveling through the fuel line, so it was basically running on a lean condition, and it was just starving for fuel. So I started to examine the fuel lines a little bit. They have a little bit of pliability left, but they're pretty stiff. And I did notice inside the tank, I tried to rock it back and forth, and the fuel filter that's on the line is not moving because the line is so stiff in there. And sometimes the fuel line will, or the fuel filter can fall off the line, and you can have issues with that as well. So we'll jump right into things. I'm gonna get some stuff set up and we'll check it out. And before I get started on removing the fuel lines, I've got a variety pack here with multiple different sizes for two-stroke fuel line, and also some filters that you can find pretty readily available on Amazon. And this was actually sent over by a subscriber. Thank you, Roger McDonald. And we'll get to pulling these lines out. So first things first with this, I do have fuel in the tank, so I'm going to want to empty that all the way out. Alright, well on this machine, the return line to go back into the tank is on the back side here, and that's just going to go into the tank about 1 inch in, and that's for when you prime it. You're going to be returning fuel to the tank once it has enough and it's primed. So I just want to remember that's in the back, and then the line that's going to have the fuel filter is the one here on the right hand side. So what I'm going to do is just remove these lines, and then I'm just going to clip them right around the grommet here, and then I'll reach in with my pliers and pull them out. Now a lot of times you can just get away with pulling the grommet out of here and doing it that way, but I don't really want to put any added stress on the grommet or deform it in any way, because I'm sure it's starting to get a little bit hard, and I don't have another one on hand, so I just want to replace the fuel line today. So I've got those clipped. I'm going to reach in with the needle nose pliers and pull these two fuel lines out. And I just got the last line out. This is the one with the fuel filter. I was having a little bit of issue, so I just went in with a small pick and was able just to pull the line towards me, and got that out. So now we've got the two lines removed. We're going to get this up on the bench, and we'll see if we can find some line that is the same outer diameter and the same inner diameter, and we'll go ahead and just replace those lines. Alright, by taking the old line, I was able to figure out with this new line here which one had the same outer diameter and very close to the same inner diameter. So to start things out, you're going to want to cut a steep angle on the fuel line. I just got a little pair of nippers here, and what that's going to allow you to do is start that fuel line into the tank. So I will go ahead and start to feed this in, and once I get it through, I can reach in with my needle nose pliers and pull the line down into the tank, and I'll go ahead and pull it back out of the fill area. That way I can attach the fuel filter. So I've gotten it through, and now I've got the end out. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the line clean after where I could cut the tapered end. Now I can insert the new fuel filter and go all the way up until you hit the end of the barb, and then we can start to, what I want to do actually is give this a little bit extra. That way it has room to go down to the other end of the tank and it can slide back and forth. These filters are usually have a weight in them so that it stays at the bottom of the tank and can slide around as needed as you're using the trimmer. So we should be pretty good right there. And now I can do is just kind of measure out about where I want that line. And then just fit the line up on the fitting. Alright, well it is all the way up on the fitting, the best that I can get it on there. And we have the other line to do, so basically at this point you're just going to want to repeat the process and nip the line at an angle, feed it through, and then you can bring the end up to cut it clean. And I'll show you once I get it cut clean where I want to place this next line, and then we should be able to finish up. Alright, I've got the other one fed through here, and what I did want to point out is the reason why you want to have the same outer diameter and the right diameter for the inside. For the inside, you want it to fit on the barbs properly for your machine on the carburetor side, and for the outer diameter, you want to have a good seal where you feed your line through, because that's actually what keeps the tank from leaking if you tip it on its side. So that's really your only seal is the actual fuel line itself. So you need to make sure that you get the right size. You shouldn't have any issues. So we're gonna nip that one clean. And on the return side, you only want to have about 1 inch of fuel line inside your tank, because this is just putting the fuel back into the tank. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one, and I'll fit it back up on the barb, and we can put some fuel in it and see how it does. Alright, now at this point you should have your fuel lines all in place, everything snugged up, should be nice and secure in the grommet, or sometimes they just actually go through the tank itself. And make sure that your filter is able to move freely inside the tank. I'm going to go ahead and fill up some 2-stroke fuel in here, and we'll double check the priming action, make sure that it's flowing through properly, and then we'll give it a test start. Alright, at this point we've got the lines where they need to be. I've got about a half a tank of some 2-stroke mix, so we'll start to prime, and we'll make sure that we are drawing up the way that we're supposed to. You can see it coming up the supply line and returning back into the return. So everything looks good there. Go ahead and get it on the ground and see if we can get a good start up. We've already primed it, so this will be a cold start. We'll give it some choke, turn it on. Alright guys, well that seems like a pretty good fix. It was a little boggy right after startup, and I believe that was just because I didn't let it warm up enough after about 20-30 seconds of letting it warm up, it was doing some full throttle pulls and had no issues. So we've got some nice fresh line in the tank, and should be good to go for a while now. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This should be able to be used on most any string trimmer or two-stroke equipment that just has the fuel lines going in through that grommet or just into your tank, and you know, replace that filter as well. So I hope this did help, and hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more videos like that, and let me know what you thought. On that note, let freedom ring, let those small engines sing. I'll see you all in the next video.